All right, wonderful suggestion last night from the people who came to study night. We're having a look at, this is the first of many, but this is weapons of mass destruction, and we're looking at responses of institutions of global governance. The first one we're looking at is the UN, and you can use any UN body here. So you could use UNOTA, you could use the UN General Assembly or the Security Council. We've got the Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, said a nuclear war must never be fought and can never be won. So that could be a perspective as well. But it helps frame the response. And one response in the UN is from the General Assembly, which was a 2023 resolution, which was steps to building a world without nuclear weapons. 148 countries were in favour of it, 7 were against and 29 abstained. It won't shock you to know that among the 7 against and the 29 who abstained were all of the nuclear-armed nations, which brings us to our assessment of the UN and our assessment of their responses, which is that the positives are that they set norms and they foster cooperation, but our negatives are that they're there's ineffective enforcement and structural limitations with a veto. So how important is it, or how amazing is it that we've got steps to building a world without nuclear weapons if all of the nuclear states are against or abstaining? The second one that we're going to look at is the IAEA, which has 178 member states. It monitors the status of nuclear facilities, and they have monitored Iran quite closely over the last few years. Our assessment of the IAEA, so the IAEA, they send inspectors into countries who have nuclear facilities to ensure that they're not using the uranium and the nuclear material that they have for military purposes. The issue that we have with the IAEA and their response, which is that monitoring, is that they have been monitoring Iran quite closely. So if we assess their responses and we want to judge their responses, we can say that there's credible assessment and monitoring. So they do go and monitor, which is really helpful. But as always with these IGGs, they can't compel cooperation and they need backing, and they can be defied. So they've been looking at Iran for a very long time, and despite this, there was no progress in Iran losing their enrichment, and the United States took matters into their own hands there and took out their nuclear enrichment facilities. So despite the IAEA's work, Iran still enriched uranium, and we still had issues. So there's a quick look at responses of IGGs. Keep up the good work. Bye.